Hi, everyone. Unlike most Ignites, apparently I'm working the slides myself, so I can take as long as I want, so I can relax. But I'll go quick. Usually these kind of things are done in the evening, and we have drinks. But it's first thing in the morning, so what we have are cute pictures of animals instead to loosen us up. These are kit foxes, and they were the unofficial mascot of the Camp Roberts exercises that I took part in August. Camp Roberts is organized by John Crowley, who's here, and it is a disaster relief training, disaster relief scenario exercise simulation. And in August, a group of us got together in Camp Roberts. Many of the people are here, and we were tasked with doing a data integration exercise. We were mostly software developers, and we wanted to get all of our systems working together. We're not geographers, we're neo-geographers, so we take a point of view of using the web and web technologies to get all of our systems talking together easily. So we were a great group of people, and I was excited to finally have a chance to focus with this group, and we had an interesting combination of things happening. Camp Roberts is an army base, and it was very much structured like a military exercise with hot washes at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I can't really complain about starting at 9 o'clock in the morning here. Combined with that kind of structure, we had really informal hacking sessions, really intensive development, and then in the evenings, we were in Paso Robles, California, which is a wine country, and so we'd spend drink delicious wine. This was the view from where I was camping outside of Paso Robles, stayed on a vineyard, and stayed up way too late, and then would come in late to the hot wash in the morning. Sorry, John. We started with imagery. We had 500 gigabytes of imagery, which had been released by the National Geospatial Administration Agency, thank you, of Eastern Afghanistan. And this was, we were free to experiment with this. There it is on that drive. And our operating process was to take openness, principles of openness, and apply it to this data and see what we could do. We're all about open source, open data standards, and especially open community, where the people who are involved are transparent and available and willing to work out in the commons. So the first thing that happened is Google brought this massive server which made a ton of noise, and they processed 500 gigabytes of imagery for 1.5 days into map tiles. And map tiles are the unsung heroes of the GeoWeb, basically allowing the widespread sharing of map data and satellite imagery. I'm with OpenStreetMap on the OpenStreetMap Foundation board, and along with Mike Magursky of Stamen Design and Josh Livney, we brought an OpenStreetMap server, which allowed people to contribute in a wiki-like way to a common database of roads and any other points of interest or vector data. So we could take in those tiles and use that as a tracing layer, digitize that, and then it goes into this common platform. The other platforms like Sahana, like Instead SMS GeoChat, were able to produce content in these common GeoWeb standards, GeoRSS, KML, things that are really simple, widely implemented, so that our platforms were able to share data, share the tiles, and share structured content just out of the box. It was really, really simple to get our stuff integrated. The hardest thing was the simulated conditions, maybe not intentionally, of Wi-Fi going up and down all the time. The highest tech thing we brought out there was not the software, but was paper. Walking Papers is a project where you can print off a map from OpenStreetMaps, you can draw on it, and then when you get back to your office, you can scan that in, and it's available as map tiles as a WMS so that you can bring it into your GIS system or into OpenStreetMap and digitize that. It makes it really, really simple to collect data in the field just using paper. But everything's geo-referenced. And for our integration exercise, we decided to try to integrate that with SMS GeoChat so that we could skip the scanning step just by going out with paper and a regular phone. use SMS to send data back to where the computers are. So what we did is we added this grid on top of the walking papers, and if you wanted to report something in the field, you send the ID of the walking paper, a grid coordinate, and that's sent as an SMS back to SMS GeoChat, which processes that, geocodes it, and then sends that data to the OpenStreetMap API. And that data is then re-rendered as map tiles and instantly distributed to other applications like Sahana. So there was a Sahana instance running, and just from SMS and paper, they were able to update the base map, and it appeared in other applications. And the first message was, there is a Kit Fox. So our mascot made it all the way through. That is the flow. I mean, basically, everything's open standards, and we were able just to get, everything was connected in all sorts of interesting ways. This was the back of the napkin diagram that I've had in the back of my mind for a couple years, and it's actually starting to happen, where there's this really easy way that all this data can work together, even having two-way flow of information on paper maps. That was deployed. It wasn't just an exercise. It actually went to Afghanistan as part of an election monitoring package. Immediately following that with Todd Huffman. And OpenStreetMap itself is finally getting use in real disasters. Map Action used OpenStreetMap data in the products they were sending to Relief Web for the Philippines typhoons. So I'm really, really happy to see that. And we're taking this approach to Kibera. On Monday, I fly to Kenya. We're going to work in Africa's largest slum, working with young people in Kibera to map using these same techniques, paper, GPS, and satellite imagery. All of this is reproducible. Humanitarian OpenStreetMap team is an interface for crisis responders, humanitarian aid agencies, to take advantage of the huge volunteer community in OpenStreetMap. We're 170,000 strong, 15,000 people editing every month, and everyone's really passionate about making maps and making a contribution. So that's primarily what I'm here to talk to you all about, find out how we can be useful, and I look forward to it. Thanks very much.